Welcome to the Spiritual Business Blueprint Podcast.
Thank you. It is really great to be here today to dig into this material.
Yeah, we're doing a bit of a different kind of deep dive today.
They really are.
We're stepping away from the charts, the crystals,
Yeah.
the actual modalities for a moment, and we are stepping into the engine room. We want to talk about the machinery that actually allows a spiritual practice to survive in the modern world.
And honestly, this is a conversation that is way, way overdue.
It is. I want to speak directly to you right now, the listener. I want you to just really picture your current reality. You're talented. We know that. You've spent years studying tarot or astrology or Reiki. You've practiced until your intuition is basically a laser beam.
Right. You love the work.
Exactly. You could talk about the placement of Venus in the 12th house or, the symbolism of the Tower card for hours and just lose all track of time.
It's that flow state. It's that feeling of being exactly where you're supposed to be in the universe.
Yeah, that exact feeling. But then the session ends, the client leaves, and you open your banking app, and reality hits.
That's the painful part.
It really is.
Yeah.
Maybe you're still charging $20 for an hour-long session because you're just terrified that if you raise your prices, everyone will leave.
Or maybe you're constantly doing free readings for friends.
Oh, yeah.
And friends of friends, hoping that this mythical exposure is going to somehow pay the rent.
The exposure trap. It's the starving artist archetype, but specifically for the spiritual community.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking because it is completely unnecessary.
It is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you have this incredible gift, but you just can't seem to turn it into a livable wage. And today, in this deep dive, we are dismantling the biggest misconception holding you back.
We are going to walk through a proven 5-step system from our source material to fix this exact issue.
And I want to be really clear about the promise here today. We aren't talking about making a few extra bucks on the side.
No, not at all.
We are talking about building a high-ticket business. We're talking about 5-figure months.
And before you roll your eyes at that and think, oh, great, another get-rich-quick scheme, I want to ground this.
Please do.
This isn't about magic. It isn't about, manifesting money by just thinking really hard about it or lighting a green candle.
Right. It is about psychology.
Exactly. It's about realizing that many talented practitioners fail not because their spiritual gifts are lacking. Far from it.
Usually they're incredibly gifted.
Yeah. They fail because their marketing psychology is completely backwards.
That is the key distinction we're going to explore in this deep dive. It's not a talent problem, it's a strategy problem.
And the source material we're looking at today outlines a very specific sequence, steps 1 through 5. If you follow them, even if you are a total beginner to business, you can see real results.
We're talking about people going from absolute zero to over $2,500 in their very first month, just by fixing this specific sequence.
It's about turning the lights on.
Yeah, most people are operating their business in the dark, just sort of bumping into the furniture. We're going to help you find the light switch today.
Let's find that switch.
Yes.
So to kick things off, I want to present a scenario that is brought up in the sources, and I think it will resonate deeply with a lot of you listening. It's what's called the paradox of experience.
Oh, this is a classic frustration. It's something I see in almost every single consulting situation.
So imagine 2 people. Person A is the veteran. They have been doing this for 20 years. They've got the certificates framed on the wall.
They know Western astrology, Vedic, tarot, Lenormand, runes.
Yeah, they're basically a walking library of Alexandria.
They are the master. In terms of sheer skill, they are in the top 1%.
Right. But they are struggling. They're hustling in these random Facebook groups, practically begging for bookings, and they're just hearing crickets.
It's exhausting for them.
It really is. And then you have person B, the newbie. They bought their first tarot deck maybe, 6 months ago?
Barely. They're still looking up the card meanings in that little white book that comes with the deck during their readings.
Yeah, they are super green.
Very green. Technically, logically, they are inferior to the veteran.
But look at their calendar. It's completely full. They're booked out weeks in advance.
They're actually raising their prices because the demand is so overwhelmingly high.
And the veteran looks at this newbie and thinks, what is happening? I know way more than them. Why are they succeeding and I'm practically bankrupt?
It feels incredibly unfair. It feels like the universe is playing some kind of sick joke on you.
Yeah.
But it's not a joke, it's a mechanism.
So what is the answer? What is the single critical difference between this struggling veteran and the wildly successful newbie?
It comes down to one word: Specialization.
Specialization.
Or to put it in business terms, it is the fundamental difference between being a generalist and being a specialist.
Let's dive deep into this because this is where most people get stuck. Talk to us about the generalist.
The generalist is what most of us naturally want to be. When you love spirituality, you just want to learn everything.
You want to soak it all up.
Exactly. So the veteran says, I can help you with anything. Love, career, health, lost items, past lives, pet psychic readings.
Their Instagram bio is just a massive laundry list of modalities.
Right. Reiki master, theta healer, crystal therapist, evolutionary astrologer, shamanic practitioner.
It looks like a menu at a diner that has 20 pages. You know those places where they serve cheeseburgers and sushi and tacos all in the same building?
That is the perfect analogy. Think about how you feel when you sit down at that restaurant. You don't think, wow, this chef is an absolute master of global cuisine.
No, you think, the sushi's probably going to give me food poisoning.
Right. I am not ordering the raw fish here.
Exactly.
It feels really impressive to the practitioner to list all those skills. It feels like armor. Like, look how qualified I am. Please validate me.
But to the customer?
To the customer, it looks like a commodity. It looks totally generic. When you say, I do everything, the client just hears, I am another generic fortune teller.
There's no hook?
None. There is absolutely no urgency to book you specifically.
That word commodity, it's a bit harsh, but I think it's vital.
Yeah.
A commodity is like rice or salt. Doesn't matter who you buy it from. You just grab whatever's on the shelf.
Correct. If you are just a tarot reader, you are actively competing with every single other tarot reader on the entire planet.
Which is millions of people.
And usually that means you are competing on price. Who is the cheapest? That is a race to the bottom that you absolutely do not want to win.
Because if you win the race to the bottom, you're working 80 hours a week and making minimum wage.
Exactly.
So let's flip it. The successful newbie, they do the exact opposite.
Precisely. The successful newbie, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously, they niche down. They specialize.
They don't try to be everything.
No. Instead of saying, I can solve any problem you have, they target one specific person with one specific pain.
They pick a lane.
They pick a very narrow lane and they drive fast in it. And the perception from the outside shifts immediately. When you specialize, the client views you as the expert, the pro, for their specific, unique problem.
It's the medical analogy from the source material, right?
Always. Imagine you have a dull, kind of annoying general headache. You might go to a general practitioner, a GP.
Sure.
But imagine you have a very specific, terrifying, sharp pain in your left eye that just won't go away. Do you want the GP?
Definitely not. I want the specialist.
You want the neuro-ophthalmologist who has studied left eye pain for 20 years.
And honestly, at that point, you don't care how much they cost.
You don't ask for a discount. You don't say, hey, can you do this for 20 bucks? You ask, how soon can you see me?
That is the power of specialization right there.
The generalist has to chase clients. The specialist has clients chasing them.
I want everyone listening to do a really honest audit right now. If you have to pause the deep dive, do it. Pull out your phone, open your Instagram, your website, your TikTok bio. Look at it with fresh eyes, as if you were a stranger.
Be brutal about it.
Does it say, I will consult on anything? Does it list 10 different modalities, but absolutely no specific problem that you solve?
Because if it does, that is likely the root cause of your financial struggle.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. We resist it heavily because we think if I narrow down, I'll lose potential clients. I'll alienate the people who just want a general year-ahead reading.
But that FOMO, that fear of missing out, it's so real when you're trying to pay the bills.
It is real, but it is an illusion. You cannot help everyone. By trying to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one.
Your message just becomes diluted.
It's watered down, has no flavor. But when you speak to one person about one specific pain, your message cuts through all the noise on social media like a knife.
By trying to speak to everyone, you speak to no one. That is going in a sticky note on my monitor today.
It's a golden rule.
Okay, so we know we need to specialize. We need to pick a lane. But how do we actually do that? This brings us to the 5-step system from our source material.
Right. And I want to emphasize that the order here is completely non-negotiable. This is where most people get tripped up.
They try to do step 5 first?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They mix up the order. They try to bake the cake before they even buy the ingredients.
Let's list them out quickly so we have a roadmap for the rest of this deep dive.
Go for it.
Step 1 is concept make. Step 2 is present creation. Step 3 is research. Step 4 is idea generation. And step 5 is information dissemination.
And here is the spoiler. Most people start with step 5. They start posting on social media before they have done steps 1 through 4, and that is exactly why they fail.
They turn on the loudspeaker before they even know what they're saying or who they're saying it to.
Exactly. They are just making noise.
So let's go deep into step 1, concept make. This sounds a bit abstract. What does concept make actually mean in this specific context?
It is simply the process of defining your specialization. But we need a formula. You can't just pull a niche out of a hat and hope it works. You must define 3 very specific things. First, who is it for? Second, what specific pain do they have? And third, what ideal future will you lead them to?
Ooh, pain. Future. Let's make this really concrete for the listeners. I love the example used in the source material about the toxic parent.
This is a powerful one because it really shows how granular and specific you can get.
So the before scenario, the generalist, they would just say, I am an astrologer, I can read your birth chart.
Right. Boring. Ignorable. If I see that on my feed, I just keep scrolling.
Now let's apply the formula, the after. The specialist concept would be something like, I use astrology to help adults suffering from toxic parent trauma or inner child wounds to break free and live their own lives.
Just feel the difference in that.
It's completely visceral.
If you are someone who grew up with a narcissistic mother or an absent father, and you just see I am an astrologer, you don't make the connection. You don't logically think astrology is the solution to your childhood trauma.
Not at all.
But if you see I help you break free from toxic parent trauma using astrology, you stop scrolling. You feel seen.
And suddenly, you aren't comparing that astrologer to 20 other astrologers on Etsy or Fiverr. You are looking at them as a specialized solution to your specific personal nightmare.
Exactly. You position yourself as a guide, not just a reader. You aren't just reciting planetary positions. You are providing a pathway out of a life-altering problem.
Let's try another example just to really show how this applies to different fields. What about the career niche?
Okay, let's look at career. Generalist approach. I do tarot readings for career and money.
Yawn.
Exactly. But the specialist approach. I use tarot to help corporate women who are on the brink of complete burnout transition into their dream creative business.
Oh, that is so good.
You see the mechanics there? Corporate women on the brink of burnout. That is the who and the pain, tightly packaged, transition to dream creative business. That is the future.
If you are that burned out corporate woman crying in your car before walking into the office, you are clicking that link immediately.
You have to click it. It speaks directly to your soul.
I can hear some listeners out there thinking, okay, this sounds great, but how do I find my concept? I don't know what my niche is. I'm just really good at reading cards.
This is definitely the most common block. People freeze up here. And the answer is almost always hiding in your own history. You have to look at your past.
Your own hero's journey, essentially.
Exactly. What struggles have you personally overcome using your spirituality?
Right. Did you survive a terrible divorce?
Did you navigate a massive midlife identity crisis? Did you deal with chronic illness? What was the absolute darkest moment in your life that you managed to navigate out of?
And what would you tell your younger self in that exact moment?
That is your niche. Your deepest wounds very often become your most profitable niche because you have authentic empathy.
You aren't just faking it for marketing purposes.
No, you know exactly what it feels like to cry on the bathroom floor about that specific issue.
And clients can feel that resonance, can't they?
They absolutely can. Authenticity is the primary currency of the spiritual business. If you try to niche into something you haven't experienced, it backfires.
Like if you've never had money problems, but you try to market yourself as a wealth mindset coach.
Exactly. It will feel incredibly hollow. People smell inauthenticity a mile away. But if you have been drowning in debt and you clawed your way out using spiritual and practical principles, people will trust you with their lives.
So step 1 is defining that concept. The who, the pain, the future. Do not move forward to step 2 until you have that clearly written down.
Write it on a physical piece of paper. Tape it to your wall. That is your North Star for everything else you do.
Now we move to step 2, the present or the lead magnet.
Yes. Step 2 is entirely about the exchange.
Why do we need a present? Why can't we just have our niche and say, hey, I solved this problem, book a reading with me?
Because of trust.
Well,
and because of basic human psychology. We are wired for efficiency and self-preservation. We do not take action without a merit or a clear benefit.
people are busy.
We're busy, we're distracted, our inboxes are full. We won't just sign up for your newsletter because you asked nicely on your website.
Yeah, that little box that says, join my mailing list for updates.
Yeah.
I ignore that every single time I see it.
Everyone ignores it. It's just noise. It's essentially asking for a favor. You're saying, give me your attention, give me your private email, without offering anything in return.
Right.
You need a present. You need to give something of high value first. This activates the law of reciprocity.
So this is the lead magnet. But it can't just be any random free thing, right?
Definitely not. This is where people mess up even when they try to do step 2. They make a completely generic lead magnet, like download my free 2026 moon phase calendar.
Which is nice, I guess. But
But it doesn't solve a specific problem. The present must be designed specifically for the concept we just built in step 1. It has to solve a micro piece of the main pain.
let's go back to the toxic parent example to keep it consistent.
Perfect. If your concept is healing from toxic parents via astrology, giving them a generic daily horoscope is completely useless.
Right.
Your present should be something highly targeted, like the 12 Zodiac Guide to Cutting Ties with Toxic Family Patterns, or maybe a free video course, identifying your inner child wounds through your natal chart.
See, I would download that immediately if I was struggling with that problem. It promises a specific insight. It promises a quick win.
Exactly, a quick win. It validates that you deeply understand their specific problem, and here is the actual transaction taking place.
Okay.
You give this highly valuable present completely free of charge. In exchange, they give you their permission to contact them. This usually means joining your email list or engaging with a DM automation flow on social media.
The source material talks a lot about moving people from rented land to owned land. Can you really break that down for us?
This concept is absolutely crucial for the long-term survival of your business. Social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, that is all rented land.
You don't own it.
You do not own your followers. The algorithm owns them. Mark Zuckerberg owns them. If Instagram changes its algorithm tomorrow, which they do constantly, or if your account gets falsely flagged and hacked,
Which happens to spiritual creators all the time.
all the time, you lose your entire business overnight. Years of work, gone.
That is a terrifying thought.
It's a reality, but your email list, you own that.
Yeah.
You can download that CSV file of names and emails and move it to any platform or provider you want. It is a tangible business asset.
So the present is the bridge.
Yes, the present is the bridge that incentivizes people to move from the dangerous rented land of social media to the safe owned land of your database.
And just a quick logic check here for everyone following along. If you haven't done step 1, if you don't have that concept nailed down, step 2 is virtually impossible, right?
Completely impossible. If you don't know exactly who you are targeting, you won't have any idea what present to make. You'll make something generic and nobody will want it. You'll spend 3 weeks writing a beautifully formatted generic ebook that gets 0 downloads, and then you'll conclude that marketing doesn't work.
It all builds on the foundation.
Everything rests entirely on the concept.
You know, hearing all this laid out, I realized just how easy it is to feel overwhelmed by the business side of things. Finding a niche, building a targeted lead magnet, setting up the email tech, it can really feel like a lot of guessing in the dark. And guessing is expensive.
It is very expensive. Your time is money.
Which is exactly why I want to mention this right now. By the way, if you're ready to stop guessing and want the complete, step-by-step system to build your own high-ticket spiritual business, I've put everything you need into my guide, the Spiritual Business Blueprint. It's the exact roadmap I use to go from 0 to 5-figure months. You can get your copy right now by clicking the link in the show notes. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
All right, so we have the concept defined and we have the present created. We are officially ready to move to step 3, which is research.
Research. I know this word makes a lot of intuitive, creative types cringe. It sounds like high school homework.
I know. We just want to light some incense and flow, right? But listen to me carefully. Stop guessing and start looking. Do not try to create content in a vacuum.
What does creating in a vacuum actually look like?
It looks like sitting alone in your room, staring at a blank wall or a blinking cursor, thinking, I wonder what people want to hear about today.
That sounds agonizing.
It is the absolute hardest, most inefficient way to create content. Instead of guessing, you need to go look at what your target audience is already actively watching and reading. You need to use the search bars on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as research tools.
But here is the secret sauce from the source material that I think really separates the pros from the amateurs.
Yeah.
It's about where you look.
Yes. This is a massive pro tip. Do not just look at other tarot readers or other astrologers.
Why not? I mean, if I'm an astrologer, shouldn't I be doing competitive analysis on other astrologers?
You can, but it is a very dangerous trap. First of all, a lot of them are struggling just as much as you are.
It's true.
If you model your business after a struggling tarot reader, you just become a carbon copy of a struggling tarot reader. Second, it creates this massive echo chamber in the spiritual community. Everyone starts using the exact same buzzwords and saying the exact same things.
So if we aren't looking at our direct peers, where should we be looking?
Look at the problem solvers in completely different industries. Look for the professionals who are tackling the exact same pain from step one, but using a completely different modality.
Can you give us a really concrete example of how that works?
Absolutely. Let's stick with the toxic parents niche we've been building. Instead of looking at what astrologers are saying about parents, go look at psychologists. Look at licensed counselors. Look at therapists on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Look at the clinical channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers discussing family trauma from a totally psychological perspective.
That is brilliant. Because the underlying problem is exactly the same. The target audience is the same person. They're just using clinical language instead of spiritual language.
Exactly. So you go to a wildly popular therapist's YouTube channel, let's say someone like Dr. Ramani, who talks extensively about narcissism. You go to her video tab and you sort by most popular. Look closely at the titles of her biggest videos.
Okay, I'm doing this mentally right now.
Yeah.
I see a video titled, let's say, 5 Signs of a Covert Narcissistic Mother, and it has 2 million views.
Boom. Right there, you have undeniable data. You don't have to guess if people out there care about covert narcissistic mothers. You know for a fact they do. 2 million people cared enough to click and watch.
So then you take that clinical topic.
And you apply what we call the modeling mindset. It is perfectly okay to model successful content frameworks. We aren't talking about plagiarizing.
Right.
You never, ever copy their script word for word. That's unethical, it's illegal, it's bad karma.
Right, obviously.
But you take the core theme. You create a piece of content called Astrological Indicators of a Covert Narcissistic Mother.
You're bringing your unique spiritual perspective, your unique sauce, so to speak, to a dish that you already know everyone loves.
You are surfing a wave that is already moving toward the shore. You aren't exhausting yourself trying to create the wave from scratch. You are piggybacking on proven, existing market demand.
And you could do this exact same thing with the comments section too, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The comments section is an absolute gold mine for content creators. Go to that specific video with 2 million views. Spend 20 minutes just reading the top comments.
Yeah.
What are real people asking in there?
They're probably asking super specific situational questions.
Exactly. They say things like, my mom does this specific passive-aggressive thing at Thanksgiving. Is that narcissism? Or, how do I practically set boundaries with my toxic family during the holidays without starting a war?
And those questions become your content ideas.
Literally, you take the exact question right out of the comment section and you make that the hook of your next video or email. Someone asked how to handle a toxic mom during the holidays. Here is what the tarot says about shielding your energy at the dinner table.
That makes content creation feel so much less intimidating.
Yeah.
You really aren't inventing the wheel at all. You're just putting your own spiritual rims on a wheel that's already rolling fast.
And it guarantees absolute relevance. You know, with 100% certainty that you are answering a question real human beings are actively asking right now.
So we've done our deep research. We're finding all these juicy, proven topics from parallel industries. Now we move to step 4, which the source material calls net-adachi, or idea generation.
Yes. Net-adachi is a Japanese term. Meta basically means material or ingredients or ideas, and dashi means to put out or to produce. It's really about building a stockpile of ingredients.
The workflow of creativity. I think we have all been in this exact painful situation. Sitting at the computer on a Monday morning, staring at a blinking cursor on a blank screen. Feeling the panic rise, thinking, what on earth am I supposed to post today?
That feeling right there is the kiss of death for a business. That is exactly why people burn out and quit. If you are trying to think of a brand new idea and then write the script, and then film the content, and then edit the content all at the exact same time, your brain will fry.
It's way too much context switching.
Way too much. Your brain cannot switch from strategist mode to artist mode to editor mode that fast.
It's like trying to shop for groceries, prep the ingredients, and cook a 5-course dinner all at the exact same moment.
That's a great way to put it. You need to separate the grocery shopping from the cooking. Step 4 is the grocery shopping.
So what is the golden rule for this step?
The rule is simple but strict. Write it down the very second it hits you.
The second it hits you, no delays.
In the shower, on a walk with your dog, while you're driving, though safely with voice dictation, please. When you are doing your step 3 research and you see that popular post about inner child healing, and your brain goes, hey, I could explain that concept beautifully through the lens of the inner child archetype in tarot.
You do not say to yourself, well, that's good, I'll remember that for later.
I will remember it for later is the biggest, most destructive lie we tell ourselves as creators.
It really is.
You will absolutely not remember it. It will vanish into the ether the second your phone rings. You need a system to capture it immediately.
What kind of tools do you recommend for this capturing process?
Do not overcomplicate this. You do not need to go buy a fancy $100 project management software right now. Use the basic Notes app on your phone.
Keep it frictionless.
Completely frictionless. Use your Gmail drafts folder. Use a voice memo app. I actually have a very successful client who just sends herself WhatsApp audio messages all day long.
Just get the thought out of your head and into a safe place.
Build what we call a bank of ideas. A simple spreadsheet, a physical notebook, whatever works for your brain. So that when Thursday morning rolls around and it is designated time to create content, you aren't starting from absolute zero.
Right, you just open the vault.
You open your bank, you see 50 brilliant headlines you captured over the last 2 weeks, and you just pick one that excites you in that moment.
Oh, look, how your moon sign reveals your deepest inner child needs. Okay, great, I have the energy to write that one today. Let's go.
It removes all the friction, it separates the strategist brain, which is the part that hunts for the ideas, from the creator brain, which is the part that makes the art. When you separate those two functions, you literally become a content machine.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes the whole daunting process actually sustainable for a single person to manage. And so, finally, after all of that prep work, we arrive at the last stage. Step 5. Information dissemination.
Execution time.
Now, and strictly only now, do we actually start posting on social media.
It's kind of wild to realize that this is step 5, not step 1, isn't it?
It really flips the script on how we're taught to do this.
Yeah.
We usually think starting a business means opening a fresh Instagram account and just blasting out posts.
But if you start the Instagram account without the concept from step 1, without the present from step 2, and without the research from step 3, you are quite literally just shouting into the void.
Nobody is listening because you aren't saying anything targeted.
Yeah.
So how do we actually execute step 5 properly? How do we adapt this system to the different platforms out there?
You have to adapt the format of your message to fit the culture of where your target audience hangs out.
Okay, break that down.
If you determine your audience is primarily on X, formerly Twitter, you do concise, punchy text threads summarizing your core ideas. If you're on Instagram, you focus heavily on visuals. Educational carousels are huge right now. Beautiful text on images explaining a psychological concept step by step with a spiritual twist.
What about longer form?
If you're on YouTube or doing an audio podcast, you do long-form deep dives, exactly like we are doing right here, right now.
But let's talk about the underlying strategy here, the content funnel. Because we aren't just posting to get random followers and vanity metrics, right?
Definitely not. We are not influencers. We are business owners. And there is a massive fundamental difference between the two.
Tell me about it. Influencers get paid in likes and brand deals.
Right. Business owners get paid in actual dollars from clients. You are building a content funnel. You are posting to speak directly to that one specific target person we defined back in step 1. Your content acts as a highly targeted beacon.
It's signaling to them.
It says, hey, do you have this awful specific problem with your toxic parent? I deeply understand it, and I have a perspective you haven't heard before.
You know what happens.
The content provides immediate value, gives them a micro shift in perspective, an aha moment. And then, crucially, at the end of the post, the content offers the present from step 2.
The lead magnet.
Yes. It says, if this resonated with you and you want to go deeper into healing this, grab my free 12 Zodiac Guide to Cutting Ties. Link in bio.
The user clicks the link.
The user enters their email and joins your list. Now they are securely in your world. You have successfully moved them from rented land to owned land. Now you have permission to email them. You can build a real, consistent relationship.
You can share your personal story, provide more value, show them you are the real deal.
Exactly. And then, and only then, do you offer to sell your high-ticket services.
Right. You don't try to sell a $500 comprehensive reading to a total stranger on Instagram who just happened to like one of your reels.
That's like walking up to a stranger at a coffee shop and asking them to marry you on the spot.
It's way too much, way too soon. It's jarring.
But if they have consumed your research-backed content, If they've downloaded your highly targeted guide, if they've read 3 of your deeply empathetic emails, they feel like they know you, they trust your expertise. When you finally offer your high-ticket service, it just feels like the completely natural next step for them.
It's a machine. It is a logical, step-by-step system. Content leads to the present, which builds the list, which nurtures the relationship, which results in the sale.
It's entirely predictable. That's the beauty of it. It takes the unpredictable magic out of the business structure and puts solid logic into it, so that you can keep the actual magic where it belongs.
Which is in the sessions themselves.
Exactly. Keep the magic in your sessions with the client. Use logic to get them there. The warning from the source material about not skipping steps is so vital here. I really want to circle back to why beginners inevitably fail.
Yeah, let's reinforce that.
They start at step 5. They just start randomly posting horoscopes. Today is a great day for Gemini. Mercury retrograde is coming, watch out.
With absolutely no concept, no present to capture leads, no research into what people actually care about.
It is exactly like renting a storefront, unlocking the front door, but forgetting to actually put any products on the shelves. You're just standing there in an empty room. Or worse, you're standing on the sidewalk shouting at people walking by, but you aren't inviting them inside to look at anything.
And then you wonder why you aren't making any money.
This is exactly why they fail. You must build the underground foundation, steps 1 through 4, before you turn on the loudspeaker in step 5.
It really is about slowing down in the beginning so that you can speed up later.
Exactly. Spend a week, hell, spend a full month on steps 1 through 4 if you have to. Really nail them down. Figure out your toxic parent niche or your corporate burnout niche. Build a genuinely killer PDF guide. Research 50 highly relevant video topics from parallel industries. Fill up your idea bank.
Do the prep work.
Then, and only then, launch the social media strategy. If you do this, you will move faster and make more money in month 2 than the generalist has made in 10 years of hustling.
This has been such an incredibly comprehensive breakdown. I feel like we've really taken apart the entire engine of a spiritual business and showed everyone exactly how all the gears are supposed to fit together.
It's conceptually simple, but it's not necessarily easy to execute. It requires discipline. It requires the emotional fortitude to say no to being a generalist.
To let go of that FOMO.
Exactly. But the payoff is ultimate freedom. The payoff is having a thriving business that actively supports your life instead of an exhausting hobby that constantly drains your bank account.
Let's do a really quick high-level recap for everyone listening just to firmly lock this all in before we wrap up.
Let's do it. So the critical difference overarching everything, specialization versus generalization. You must be the neurosurgeon, not the general practitioner.
Step 1. Concept make. Define the who, the pain, and the ideal future. Remember the power of the toxic parent example. Be that specific.
Step 2, present creation, the lead magnet. You absolutely need a high-value exchange to capture the lead and move them from the algorithm's rented land to your owned email list.
Step 3, research. Look at completely different industries that are solving the exact same pain, like clinical therapists, to find proven high-traffic topics. Do not guess what your audience wants.
Step 4, idea generation, or nidadashi. Capture your ideas immediately in a centralized idea bank. You have to separate your strategy brain from your creation brain to prevent burnout.
And step 5, information dissemination. Targeted, platform-specific posting that naturally leads people directly into your funnel, not just posting for vanity metrics.
And you know, looking at all of this, I think the most genuinely empowering thought here is that you do not need 20 years of experience to pull this off.
Not at all.
You don't need to be a recognized grandmaster. You don't need to have perfectly memorized every single obscure card definition in the deck.
No. You just need to solve one specific problem for one specific person.
That's it. If you can help someone practically navigate a toxic relationship or find clarity in their career path, you are an absolute pro to them. The market does not care how long you've been doing this. They only care how well you understand and can articulate their pain. What if your biggest, most painful personal wound is actually your million-dollar asset?
That is the ultimate takeaway right there. You are enough as you are. You just need a proper system. Focus on providing the solution and let go of your imposter syndrome. Thank you for listening to the Spiritual Business Blueprint Podcast. To get the complete guide and start building your business today, check out the link in the show notes. I'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.